Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? I do apologize, it took me a little bit longer. I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm hoping you guys can see me. Can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up and thumbs down? Because I have been having issues with the Wi-Fi. If you can give me a thumbs up and thumbs down, or tell me if I'm hearable, please let me know. Because I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I do apologize for the 5-minute late. Sandra, can you hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm only looking at the chat so I can know if you guys can hear me. Okay, awesome, thank you. So we're doing the pumpkin PDF that I put in the description box for the foundation paper piece, and I do hope you guys printed them because I can't give you dimensions and that kind of stuff. But I'll be willing to sew along with you guys and show you some tips and tricks. So I'm going to point you down to the table. Wrong camera. Sorry guys. So, I have chosen to do 2 oranges, a brown stem, and a white background. So you can print it, you can freezer paper. What I have is freezer paper. Hello Gladys, welcome. So on freezer paper, for my preference, is because on one side it's got the kind of a temporary glue on it, but it's not really, it's for like freezing stuff. But I use it to put the fabric on and not have to use glue sticks. If you use regular paper, you'll probably need to use glue stick on the first piece so that you can get going. So we're going to start with A, and then we're going to pre-crease these because it's easier to go ahead and do that ahead of time. So I'm going to pre-crease my paper. And then I'll go from there. And then you also need to follow the pattern, because it's easier to follow the pattern since most patterns will start with A, B, C, D. I do apologize if you can't see my face. I am learning to figure out all this new stuff since I got a new computer and everything. So you're going to deal without my face today. We're going to pre-crease every pieces you have, but we're not going to do the other side. We'll do the last 2 pieces afterwards. You can pre-crease now, or you can just go ahead and start. I hope you guys are all excited as much as I am to being back. I am trying to get started on this stuff. Let me make sure the iron's still on. So you always follow, even though it has A, B, C, you always follow numerical order like you would in counting. But I do know it's easier to get sidetracked and then going crazy. Give me just a second, because you need the pattern to be on your which I don't know where my paper pattern went, but I'm using the computer to see. So like here, this section, so your pumpkin goes like this, and that's what I can tell you. But the rest out of edges are normally white or other colors that they tell you. You can use, when you're doing stuff, don't ever use your paper scissors for the fabric. You can use scissors or rotary cutter. I might actually use my rotary cutter and a little mini ruler. So that I can get a small piece, because you also want to make sure you're covering your bases. Just because my paper is a little bit bigger, I like to check and make sure I'm covering all my bases. Awesome. And I like to take a little iron and just press over it. Don't expect to be perfect or anything. And then you're going to go ahead and fold back. It looks like I did not get a 1/4 inch on that, so we're going to make sure I go a little bit bigger. Because you don't want to make your pattern too small on the seams. Because if you make the seams a little bit smaller, it's going to be harder to work with. If that makes sense to any of you. If you have questions, please ask. I know some of you know how to do this. And then the extra, because I always keep a little extra of the freezer paper around it, just in case. And then I go in here. Looks like my seam disappeared. And I always cut the excess of the fabric. And it looks like it moved on me. It's okay. We can fix that. That's what the lovely thing of freezer paper for. Next, you go follow the numbers. If you have questions, please ask, and I will answer, or some of the people in the chat, my moderators, will help. So, Sandra, you're going to have that 1/4 inch already, and that's your 10 inch when you're done. The only reason I have extra of the freezer paper around it is so that I have a little more space to remind myself to cover that edge. And I'm going to start with this piece, and I'm just going to, got a big piece, because I'll probably use all the pieces after the ones I've already cut. The pattern is written for the 10 inch. Yes. So what I'm going to do is add this down here. And what we're going to do is go ahead and stitch that line that's showing. I'm going to go to the machine. And it might let it freeze a little bit, but I do apologize for that. Oh, I did not change my thread. Good thing I caught that now. Because you want to use your cotton thread. You can sew a 1/4 inch on the side. I prefer not to. Personally, it's more work than just sewing on the line. You're welcome, Sandra. Give me a second and I will get my threads back up and running. If I know where my white thread went. There it is. I am sorry for being all over the place for the first live back. Any questions? I'm more than welcome to answer. Now we can sew since, oh, and make sure your stitches are smaller than your normal stitches. So like between 1.8 to 2 is the best. I usually use 2. The smaller you use your stitches on here, the smaller you will be able to tear out the paper. Alright, let's go back to the big table. Oh, you're fine. I was running a little late, Linda. Personally, because I was trying to figure out the mic issue. So, you're good. And just keep going in numerical order. Any questions other than what I have going on? And you do not need, and I will tell you, and I will repeat, you do not need an outer quarter ruler. It's only if you need it because of the lip edge of it. That's up to you. But you got the 1/4 inch on your ruler. Out there. I hope that helps because I'm one of those that I will tell you. That's going to be white. And make sure you pay attention to your, and don't go like this corner to this edge of the paper because you may not catch that 1/4 inch. And you don't want to be able to go sew and go, oh, I have that hole in that fabric. And we need to fix that when you're almost finished. And you don't want to do that. And then I'm going to cut off this thread that's hanging. Anybody with questions? And yes, I'm pre-creasing my fabric. I may go back to the machine and fix that one because the seam is coming out. You don't want that. Normally I don't backstitch. Hey Lorraine, how are you? Normally I don't backstitch on my FPP. It depends if it's a small project like this. When we're done, if for some reason it's coming back out, just stitch right over it. And if the pieces are getting bigger, to use this little one, always grab your 6.5 by 12 or whatever says that will work. And make sure you line your 1/4 inch against the paper. And a reminder, do not need to buy an 1/4 ruler. I have done this for so long now. That's perfect. Oh, sorry guys. So I'm going to do a regular shade of orange. Oh, that's my scissors. And I line it up with the previous fabric, which will have the 1/4 inch line already, and then we're going to go sew it. If anybody and any of y'all have questions, please ask. We're going to make a sampler quilt, but we're going to call it a 2023 to 2024 sampler quilt. I hope you guys were willing to join me on this. It's going to be from November to December next year, probably, and then we're going to put them together. I hope you guys are excited for it. I will be doing a lot more lives again. I do apologize for yesterday. I wasn't thinking and I forgot my husband was going to be home for Thanksgiving. Let's change this back to this camera. Sorry guys. We need a white piece. Go sew that piece down. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving too, Luann. I sure did. It was just me and my mom home and my husband. We flew, and I wanted my shorts to show that I was flying. That was because we flew to meet my brand new, and I'll give you the camera, brand new niece I just had last week. Not this week, but the week before. And she is absolutely gorgeous. So that's why you have a video of me flying. But other than that, I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I'm trying to do this without being crazy. I know. But I've been enjoying some time for myself, let alone, I am going to give you a heads up, there might be another live today, but there may not. It depends on if I can get one thing finished before I can do the other one. Alright, let's go this way. Awesome. Okay, and then we can cut this one down. Make sure it is all 1/4 inch around, because that's your seam. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how the one project I have on the frame go. And Sandra knows what I'm talking about. Who's this coming up? Because I might be doing that today. 6 is the pumpkin. I'm only rotating out the fabrics is so that it kind of looks like a cool pumpkin when I'm done. Let's go sew this one together. Oh, on camera. It'll take me time to get used to again. Alright, back to the table. Do not use pins! I'll tell you that. You don't need pins. Oh, no pins. No pins. Sandra, ouchie. We don't use pins in this world. That's only if you're going to put them together. Shoot. And you don't need that. Anybody else doing this besides Sandra? We've got to get her to not use pens. The one thing I do not use in foundation piece, now I'll take that back. Only if I'm piecing the two pieces together, and then I use Wonder Clips. Hey Tracy, that is all I use in this. I prefer not to use pens in this stuff, because there's no reason for it. I know, but you should be using your iron because it's like a temporary glue. Sorry for doing that. But, Sandra, you should know better. We're not needing pens. We're not needing clips at this moment. So, I need that one. And then we're going to go and sew. Okay. Gladys, if you're new to it, there are multiple videos on my channel about FPP and my tips and tricks. So, and I forget the camera again. Sorry, guys. And then you're going to press, if you starched your fabric, you can easily just do that with your fingers. I like to use the iron because, personally, temporary glue. Now we need 8, and that's a piece of pumpkin. Alright. Sandra, you're better now. Please do not use pens until we go piecing them together. Freezer paper you can iron on. Just make sure you don't press it on your iron, like I just did like 10 minutes ago. Yes. Linda, I prefer to sew through it because it holds the fabric together and I'm not stuck trying to make sure the freezer paper is staying attached to the fabric. And as long as when you're sewing through it, all you need to make sure your stitch length's just like normal, between 1.8 to not 2. So you can be able to tear it out. Thank you for this. I don't have it because it's not in my budget range. And I kind of work with what's in my budget range. But I cannot wait to see what you get, Lorraine. Yeah, that's one of the things on my channel. You're going to see a whole lot of me sewing through freezer paper or paper because it's a lot easier for me. And I know my paper is not going to move when I'm working with the pieces. Oh, mine, Lorraine. No, thank you. I would not do that many at once. But a lot of people like the challenge. There's going to be some new challenges on my channel. And I am pursuing them. And I will tell you about them at the end. I don't know how many of you know Amy DeMent's doing a challenge where she finished all of her UFOs this year. Oh, and I do apologize I didn't get the camera to you guys. I would be you, Tracy. That's one of the reasons why I didn't buy it. I'm not very patient. Okay. Now the next piece on 10, you're doing white again. Any questions before I continue? Because I want to make sure you guys are understanding that it's basically simple alphabetical order first, then numerical orders. And then multiple items you probably didn't know that you could use to save yourself. Always make sure you have painter's tape, seam ripper, not just because you think you may not need them, but they're there. Paper scissors, a seam roller, if you don't want to do the freezer paper technique. Fabric scissors. Pins for when you're putting the two pieces together with, like, say, instantly these two. That's it. And then you pull them out after you use Wonder Clips. If anybody else has tips, please share them. I am more than happy to allow those on my channel. Alright, let's go get this last piece seam. It's not the last, but we got one more, and then we can say A is done. Do I need to slow down for anybody? Or are we getting it? You do not have to start your fabric. It's only if you want to. And I'm going to go ahead and prep the trimming of this side. So the other side is already done. Then I only have one side left to trim at the end. I typically trim all the excess off as long as I have a 1/4 inch. If I have all the pieces done on one side. Sometimes I do trim before I'm completed on that side because some of those pieces might fit the next piece. So I like to try to use them up before I go crazy with other pieces. And I'm using my 1/4 inch on this ruler in order to trim. Now we can go back and sew that last piece on there. And just make sure you're sewing on the line. Only if you're ironing. It will stick. Like, I like to press my seams beforehand because I've starched my fabric. I didn't understand you, Tracy. Your lines are on these paper. You'll see all my stitching. That is your stitch line from your pattern. Linda, I like to press as I go, but sometimes I just, like my first piece, I will press it down to make sure it stays, and then I'll go from there. If it's a bigger piece, like this one was, I'll press it, but I pressed the paper downwards. I do not print on fabric freezer paper. There is a way to do that. I just haven't figured it out yet. Most big companies will not do that. And if the pattern is small, then you should be okay to be able to. Yes, there's a pattern in my description box below and in my community tab. And I believe Sandra might have it on hand if you guys need it. One of my moderators might be able to get it for you. So there's my first pumpkin. It's this way. So your fabric will face, your print will face to away from your freezer paper or any kind of paper, because you do not want to put them towards the freezer paper. Yes, I trace on the freezer paper. It's one of my things I like to do because then it keeps my mind occupied. Anybody need me to wait for a few minutes? I'll go ahead and press. Thank you, Sandra. Make my crease in my seam lines, and you guys can tell me if you need me to slow down. I know I've been a little fast today because I'm trying to be really good at this again. And it is a free pattern. We're going to call this 2023 to 2024 Sew Sampler Quilt when we're done with these foundation paper piecing. I figured it out on my own because of the waxy. I was doing some kind of applique when I first started, and I figured, okay, I was doing it for my grandma's quilt. And I was like, oh, maybe this might help. But there are a lot of quilters out there that use it now, and sewers. I wish I'd known it with tracing my clothing pattern. That would have been awesome. I know it would have been a lot of freezer paper, but it would have been better than mishap cuts. Anybody else need me to slow down? Or are we getting it? No, Tracy, we are doing what is going to call let me put the camera up to me. It's going to call 2023 to 2024 a foundation sampler quilt. So there's not going to always be a pumpkin. There's going to be one pumpkin for sure. But we're going to keep doing different types of shapes in it, like food. Like next week is slice of pumpkin pie. Slice of pie. And I know that Sandra can get you the link if you guys want to do this. I will have it in my once I get it, when I get off, I will make sure the link is in the community tab and in the next video to remind you guys that's the pattern we're going to do. We're doing anything of free foundation paper piecing. There might be some of my own designs of foundation paper piecing. So, yes. So, we're going to go, since November is almost over, we're doing the pumpkin and the slice of pie. And then the next is December, so we're going to do something Christmassy to do with that. And then we just keep doing it. Each month different foundation paper piecing. Yes. And I can do that, Luann, because I'm going to try and make some. Alright. I'm not making a table runner, I'm making a quilt. But we might do table runners for each month. It depends on how we do it. How about a vote? We do a 2023 sampler quilt. Thank you, AJ. you're going to click number 1 for that. Number 2 of the vote would be we do table runners for each month of foundation paper piecing. I'm waiting. I'm giving you guys a chance to vote. Number 1 would be we make a sampler quilt with foundation paper piecing. Or 2, we make a table runner for each month. You tell me which one 1 or 2. And I will write down how many votes we have. And I'll put it in a community poll as well. Yes, Tracy. It starts with this pumpkin that I should have done a year ago, but things happened for some odd reason, but we're here, right? Because I think having a foundation sampler quilt gets you to see how many foundation paper piecing you've done, and you can look back at. You can do the same with the table runner, but at least you get to have a quilt that you did with me. And you can be able to say, hey, I did that with Pieces, Love, and Quilting. It's up to you. Okay. Just remember, we're doing a vote now, and then there'll be another vote on the community tab later today. Hey, Stephanie. One, okay. Stephanie, since you missed the chat, we are voting on a foundation paper piecing quilt, which will be a sampler of all the... We have 3 votes for the quilt. Lorraine, excuse me. The first vote was the sampler quilt of all of, starting with this pumpkin till the end of next year. Have a sampler quilt of a foundation paper piecing, or we do a table runner of of each month of like pumpkin and pie this month. Of each month, it'll have different table runners, but we're waiting to see how the vote is. We're at 3-0. And yes, I am checking to make sure this fits. Awesome. Okay. Then we can go ahead and start sewing. And I'm guessing Sandra's going to vote for 1. Maybe 2. I don't know. But here we go. Let's go to this machine. It's okay, Lorraine. Alright. you go. Yes, I'm finger pressing because I did starch my fabric. And I'm able to do that. You don't have to starch fabric. It's a choice of your own. I think you will do just fine, Tracy. I promise you. You'll do fine. It's just weekly. You can work on it separately. If you have questions, you know where I am. And please remember, I do have a Facebook group. Denise, it is paper piecing. And welcome. We're doing a paper piecing tutorial. We were talking about having it done that way because some people wanted to join on this. So, but sometimes it's always fun to try. If you try one block and you're still not convinced that paper piecing is cool or fun or easy, I won't bother you. Trust me, I'm not one of those things. As long as you try it once, I'm happy. Or if you don't feel comfortable, that is fine too. Alright, let's go back to the machine. The reason I use, Denise, freezer paper. I know, Sandra. But you got this. I am going to say this. You got it. You all do. Believe in yourself. We're all going to be practicing at different weights. And you can't always say that I'm not going to do it. Because eventually your mind will change and you're saying, I'm not going to do it. Because that's how I was with foundation paper piecing for the line. I put it aside and said, it's just going to sit there for days and years. And it did. Until last year. And if you do it right, Denise, you'll be fine. Talk to Stephanie Harris. Talk to Sandra Kay. They do some freezer. They don't do freezer paper, but they do FPPP. Foundation paper piecing. Sorry. Freaking that. It's all about practicing. It gives you some strengths to know where your strengths are. It gives you, so when you're practicing your foundation paper piecing, you can find your strengths, you can find your tips. You can say, oh, this tip worked with me, but it didn't work with me with this project. But it's a, and Stephanie will probably agree, it is depending on where you are at in the quilting world. At the same time, you can also be saying, hey, I'm going to give it a try. If I don't like it the first time, then I'm going to say, okay, I did it once. I'm happy with it. I'm done. I don't want to do it again. I thought I was that way until I went back to it because of my niece, who, not the newest one of my other nieces that loved elephants. And I was like, you know what? I need to get back into it. Because I know I can do it. It challenges me. It gives me a reason to say, hey, I done it. I did it. I'm happy. So, but I still do them because I love them. I love doing it. Okay. But just remember, that's all I'm going to say. And at the same time, you got to be you, be unique, be creative, and be kind. That's all I always say. I know at the end of my other videos I haven't. It's just I've been really super busy trying to get this done. That's cool. It's going to look like an odd pumpkin. And that was what I was looking for. An odd pumpkin. Anybody have questions? And you're more than welcome to ask me what I have planned for the channels. You can just let me know if you want to know. I can pull out the calendar while I'm waiting for Sandra, even though I'm going a little too fast. Because she's typing at the same time. I can tell you that I know I'm going to do this FPP challenge, or the Sew Sampler quote with you guys. I also know that there's a lot of projects I'm going to do on this channel. So I hope you enjoy. You would like to know? Okay, let me grab my calendar. So, I knew I've been working on trying to figure out some things. You will see me long arming again. You will see me doing all that. You might see me do some cleaning because I kind of went from the time off and just went crazy with it. What else? I have it all over my schedule. December and January, we are doing scrappy quilts. I'm going to find some patterns or design. I have a couple patterns that I did design that we're going to do. That will be free. No cost at this moment because I'm still playing with them. You will still see my vintage Christmas sew along until the 18th. You will see every Friday either long arming or foundation paper piecing. It depends. We may do every other. And another vote, do you guys want to do every other week for foundation paper piecing? Or do you want to do every Friday? That is another thing I needed to know. Yes, I will be doing lives Thursdays. Thanks to Sandra for reminding me that I forgot about something. Because I didn't realize I just spaced it off and hubby was home. Yes, I will be going back to Thursday nights. And then Friday afternoon. And I may find couple more projects for you guys. Or you guys to watch along. It is up to you guys. I do know starting December, I will probably make some fun foundation paper piecing, like a snow globe or... Okay, Tracy. I will work on making some foundation paper piecing, like snow gnome. The other thing is... Excuse me. I want to make sure we do an AccuQuilt series. For those that do have the AccuQuilt, you do not have to purchase it. It's just more of, I think, one side of a scrappy quilt will be done by a AccuQuilt, and the other one will be done by hand cutting and everything, because it will be along with my quilts that I've designed. And I'm not showing them until time. And maybe give you guys 3 weeks in advance to get the pattern. And I am working on a bunch of other things behind the scenes. And hopefully, once I have my foundation, my site up and running, that will be where you'll find all of, if any free or price cost patterns, depending on it. It won't be expensively because I don't want that. But I want to make sure I'm making some decent somewhere in there. I think that's all I have on the plan right now. So I hope you all would follow along and enjoy. And also daily vlogs. I am going to work on those. I'm going to start my Christmas vlogs so that you guys can see what I do during the day. Okay? If any other questions, please ask. I will answer them. I'm actually multitasking between the computer and trying to keep an eye on the chat. And the other reason my pumpkin's going to look a little funky is because I like to have fun with it. If you don't have fun in life, you never know what you find. And I'm more than welcome to answer any other questions you have. Of course she's gonna do that. Sandra, it's not a race. It is not a race. It's all about follow along, doing it. If you guys can't, it's not like you have to get there in the fast lane. Yeah. Also, that's the other thing, reading the pattern will be your best bet. I know my pattern's going to be a little bit easier once I get started. So, I'll be right back for a second. Yay. That is exciting. Who else has different questions that they'd like to ask? And a reminder, Sandra, no panic. Just press it and be done. Of course you are. You're all going to be an A+. Any questions? I think everybody's going for that A+, Sandra. It's trim. Remember, on your regular rulers, you can use your 1/4 inch line. I see I have this much piece. I'm going to go ahead and trim this side down so I can I try, and one thing also in the FPP world, try to use up what you already have on your pieces before you go grabbing new pieces. The only reason there's only 4 sets of pieces of fabric, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 sets of fabric. Typically I use Ziploc baggies to label them, but it didn't this time because I'm just trying to get them out for you guys. And just make sure you sew on that line. And who all wants to have a video done on how I trace my pattern onto freezer paper? Let me know and I might do that for you guys. I found a problem. And I think I purposely did that and not realize it. So I went past the line that I needed. So I use little painter's tape. Yes, I do divide it down a little bit because my pattern's a little bit smaller. We're doing a 10-inch size block. You got Tracy, I forgot to mention that. And you need your seam ripper. Gently pull it out because you don't want to take it off. Just like that. On the side, you're going to take the stitches out. You put a small piece of tape just to keep it from tearing apart. Anybody that wants a tutorial how I do this, taking a pattern onto freezer paper, let me know. So you have this much on this one. I'm going to go ahead and use it. And also make sure your space is covered so you're not having little holes inside your pattern. And about just did backwards. Oh, you're fine. We were talking about seeing if everybody wants to see about a tutorial on how I take patterns from paper to freezer paper, because I don't use printer. And Sandra's talking about being an A student, A plus student. And we got Tracy to start her first block. There's my B block. There's my other B. So there you go. They're going to look funky because I'm okay with that. It's all about doing it. Yeah, but I'm not. And I did discuss, Luann, my schedules. Also doing some free patterns, designing, doing Scrappy Month for 2 months, 2 lives for a week, each week. So, I can wait for ya while I clean up my mess a bit, because I don't like to stay messy like that anymore. Any of these pieces that's left over, I keep them, and then I put them in my scrap bins. And if I ever come to a pattern that, oh, it needs these pieces, I have them. And I don't lose them. Anybody wants to see how I do my scraps? And this goes in a special Ziploc bag, which I will start a new one. Until I can find some more big ones. Because I have a project in mind that I'm going to do that with. Still waiting on votes if they want to do a sampler quilt or a, okay, Linda, I will do a video. Or do you want to, I'll probably do a video because it'll be a whole lot easier. So this last part is just white and brown. No other colors. So I'm going to go ahead and fold up this fabric and all this extra stuff that I don't need. And then I have white and brown. I'm just waiting for Sandra to catch up so she's ready for, I'm not going to piece these together yet until the end. I'm a type of person that likes to do that part at the end, unless it's a big piece of a quilt, then yes, I'll do it beforehand. Any questions for any of you all? I do apologize. I'm going to turn on my little small fan. If it makes funky noises, I do apologize. Anybody have questions before we continue on? And where are you at, Sandra? I do have a, I don't know how I'm going to put this, a vote for me to stay on for a bit longer and work on my vintage Christmas, and run the long arm behind me so we can get the next order, which is that gray quilt backing there and that one. Or I come back after we finish the pumpkin. I'll probably take a break after the pumpkin and we'll go from there. Yes to staying on longer, but take a break in between. Or come back later. It is up to you guys. I have nowhere to be. My hubby went to his new position at his job. So I'm going to be home. I know, Linda, but I could just put a pause screen on for a bit and then come back. A lunch break? Okay. Okay. Someone's super excited about something. Okay. I'm gonna go, how about this? I'll go start the long arm, because you can still see me in the camera. And then that way we can let Sandra catch up. You want me to show it off? She is wanting me to stay on. And this is why I'm going to go ahead and try to finish my little pillows. I have Miss Sandra K's quilt to quilt. So that is her quilt. And she's super excited. Because hers goes on next. And after these pillows, because I was trying to get the pillows done because my mom had her house decorated and I was trying to finish her quilts and all that kind of stuff. So okay. I'm just working on the little trunk, so it's done and out of my way. So those little blocks up there on the long arm are going to be turned into pillows. So one pillow is going to get this backing because they don't have it anymore. And then the rest of the pillows, they're going to be one of those slip in and slip out pillows kind of thing, are going to have this fabric material to sit on my mom's sofa. I have 6 total pillows and I have 2 more to, after these 2 right here that are on the frame. I already did the 2 that's up there a little bit higher. The ones that I'm working on is 2 more, and I have 2 after that. And then I am done. And then that way I can start doing the pillows. Oops. I do apologize with that. I don't know what my computer was doing. It's a brand new one. Where are you at, Sandra? Hello, Shirley. We're waiting on Sandra to be caught up because she's one block behind me. And I have her quilt that I'm going to be quilting for her today. So while the long arm is running, we're letting her catch up on her blocks. But I am going to go ahead and trim this down. You're almost there, Sandra. We're doing the pumpkin. I can't get something to stay somewhere, obviously. Keeps jumping out. Okay. Alright, we're going to go ahead and finish mine. I already have 2 pieces done. We're going to go to C3, which is white. And you just go in ABC order first, and then numerical order. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and press this back. Like that. It's hard to see with the... Always make sure you use your ruler with a 1/4-inch line. You do not have to bug add a quarter. That is an optional choice for you. And then there you go. Next piece. And let's go sew it. I did starch my fabric. You do not have to. I believe Shirley does hers a little bit different than mine. These itty bitty pieces, I put them in a Ziploc bag because I have a project in mind. And I hope you guys will join me on that project when I'm ready. Here we go to sew the last piece. We have one more piece after this, but this is the big piece. And we got one more big piece. If the camera moved, I do apologize. There we go. It is in my description box below. It was a free pattern. Surely. I am getting back into doing my FPP. Sandra and a couple other people have been waiting patiently for me to come back. And so I'm ready to come back. And I am getting this done. And I'm only doing free patterns. And I will be designing some of my own, and I keep forgetting the camera. I do apologize on that one. I don't know why I keep saying that word, but somebody needs to stop me today. Alright, let's get this last piece on. Yes, I like to do the free patterns. I figured we'd do a sampler quilt of 2023 to 2024, and you'll have a full-size quilt. So, yay, Sandra. Keep going. Get your C done. I'm going to wait there until your C is done so that we can do this together. For those that are following along, you are going to see me go over the long arm while we wait for Sandra to finish hers. I'm quilting Christmas pillows so that we can get them on my mom's sofa. My goal is to have them done tonight so that they fit their original sofa pillows. I don't know why it's stuck. Okay. And then we're going to quilt Sandra's quilt. I am going to be right back, and I will see you in a minute. Alright, we're going to go ahead and piece A and B together. So when I told Sandra no pens are allowed if you're using freezer paper, well, we're at a stage that we need the pens. We don't keep them in. You just find the corner and make sure the other corner matches. And then you take one of these pens. And then you come down here. Normally I only just use one. And I use these Wonder Clips. They're wonderful things you can ever get. in which it saves you from being pinned, like have the pin pinched you. And I like to have mine a little extra so that it gives me a little more security. So let's go ahead and get those over here. Whoops, wrong camera. And I do on this, since this bottom piece is not going to have a little buddy, I'm going to go ahead and go all the way down. Alright, now since we've done that, I have a loose thread over here. I'm going to take the 1/4 inch seam and pop that off. I like to tear right in the middle because it allows me to pull one way and the other one the other way. How many is, I'm going to ask this question, how many is excited that I'm coming back and giving you some more things? How many want some ideas to put into a bucket hat where we can each month decide together what we do? Looks like my seam came out. I'm going to fix that real quick. For some reason. I know you are, Linda. And then I press my seams open because when I go to the next one, it's going to be a little open. You can press to the side, it's just going to be bulky. Now we're going to do the last piece. We're going to just double check. And Sandra can catch up as we go. I like to make sure I check the corners. And then I'm going to put my Wonder Clips on those. I do sometimes kind of check and make sure these lines match. And they do. They're going to be 100% match. Even if you feel like you didn't get it, you're going to know that you kind of went a little further on your lines. But you can always say, hey, I did it. It's my best. It's what I got. And then I can go ahead and click. I am excited to be back. I do know that I have some plans that I want to do. And I want to involve you guys. And some projects I can't do with you guys, but some I can. So reason I'm flipping this over is so I can throw this along down the edge so it's not loose pieces laying around. There we go. Anybody else have ideas what we should do together? And if it flips a little, most of the time here's what I normally do. I just pop a little snip and it goes back to normal. So if it flips over like that, do you see there? I just make a little snip and just push it back down. Who else would like to be involved on what we do? Because I want you guys to feel included, besides my scheduled plans. And here's my pumpkin. I'm going to go ahead and press it, and then we'll go ahead and get the paper out. Here's my pumpkin. I hope you guys like it. It seems a little crazy. But what do you think? If you have a hard time trying to get the seams out, gently poke your seam ripper in there and then just pull. And I want to remind you all, it is to your preference what you want to do. Just because there's a bunch of other content creators who do it differently, it is up to your preferences. Please know that. Just because I like to sew on paper, you do not have to. And then one reason I like freezer paper, I don't have to deal with the glue being stubborn. Anybody have questions? I'm more than welcome to answer anybody's questions. I know Shirley would say the same thing. You just do it to your preference. I hope I made sense to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope we can continue this so long together to make a quilt and call it something. We'll have to find a name for it other than sampler quilt. Yes. See, I told you that Shirley will agree because I don't want you guys to think I do freezer paper, she does something different, and it's like that magical. Here, let me put my face up. Oh, we gotta do this because this content creator did it. No! Just find the one that works with you. Just because, like, freezer paper works for me because I hate having to iron on glue. Hate it. I've always have and always will. I don't like to use copy paper. If it's the patterns that are bigger than 8 by 11, then yes. I will use it, but I prefer not to. I like that. I really do. I like that one, Linda. I hope everybody would like that one. How about this? We will spend the next month. I will write down the names that we figured. Like Linda just came up with this one. And I'll put it in the community tabs. And we will vote on it at the end. How about that? I like it though. Thank you, Linda. But then that way we spend the month and then we decide. And then January 1st we know what my title will be in the videos or the lives, so you guys know a heads up. Hey, this is time for this. And then that way I can put a Google folder together of the blocks we've done if somebody wanted to jump in. And I think Shirley might like that idea. A Google Doc folder that you guys go to that and you'll find all the patterns that we're going to be doing. And it might have little dates on it so you guys know a heads up. Hey, this is the one that we're doing this week. And I like that name, Linda. I do. I'm trying to get these paper out. And water works good too. Just remember, if you can't get something out. because we're doing it together as friends. And I press it. Here's the block. And then that way I'm going to have a drawer set for just that. I have a drawer thing under here on my table so that we can make sure we keep our blocks together. It's alright. I like it. And I think everybody else will. Because we're actually doing it together as friends. Alright, let's go see if we can get the long arm going. Again, and I'm going to take this phone over there so you guys can see. Of course the battery is not good. So we're going to go and start this real quick. We'll probably just take a break so I can get something to eat and do a few things, and then I'll come back. So I can get this done. And give me a second and I will come look at the comments. Hey Terry, oh you missed it. We just finished the pumpkin. I can pull that block back out. We just finished this, and we're gonna do it's gonna be a sew along from today to the end of 2024, and we came up with a name so far that I wrote. I haven't had anybody else ask, and I love the name so far with Linda. It is Piece by Piece with Friends Quilt, and I really like it. So, but I'm getting ready to just hop off and take a little break and try to get those blocks done. So that way, when I come back, Sandra's quilt will be on the frame ready to go. And my phone will be charged. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time. Be kind, be unique, be you, and be creative. Till then.